Yeah. Ooh, make some interesting. Oh, hi there. I didn't see you there. I was just doing some light reading. Today's Fantasy Minute is dealing with the draft order for 2018 and beyond. Seems it might be a little early to be talking about the draft order here, but we have to have a system in place because if we don't have a system in place, people will complain like, oh, I didn't know that and I traded for this pick and blah, blah, blah. So here's the system. It's actually pretty simple. Usually around a few weeks after the Super Bowl, my fantasy league comes out with the new sites, like the 2018 sites, late February, early March. And when they do, I'll send out the random draft order. Just like we did this year, every even round is the opposite of the odd round. It's all random, so you don't know where you're going to pick. And that will be the draft order for rounds 2 through 10. For round 1, the 8 teams that don't make the playoffs will pick 1 through 8 based on the lowest points scored. Whoever scores the least gets the first pick. And then 9 and 10 will be the teams that lost in the playoffs. And I actually think we'll have a third place game for that. And whoever wins the third place game will pick 9th, and whoever loses will pick 10th. So that's pretty cool, something at stake there. And then, of course, the Fantasy Bowl runner-up picks 11th, and the Fantasy Bowl champion picks 12th. That's it. It'd be pretty simple. A couple things to know. When you get the draft order, when I send it out in late February, normally when you get that email, you want to be at the top. Actually, in this case, you'll want to be at the bottom because if you're at the bottom of round 1, you pick it in the top of round 2. And you don't actually pick in the bottom of round 1. That's already determined by our standings. So 2 through 10 is going to be whatever that random draft order gives us. And round 1, we'll actually know round 1 right after our championship game. We won't have to wait till we'll know where you pick in round 1 right after that game. So that's it. I guess another thing might be that people might say, people are going to tank and try and get the lowest score. But if you read the rules, and something I'll go over later, the fewer points you score, the lower your salary cap is. So if you try and tank and get a higher draft pick, you're going to actually lose salary cap dollars. For one thing. Another thing is I don't think picking 1 is going to, in the NFFL, if you have the number 1 overall pick, you could get, Todd Gurley for 7 years. In this league, if you have the number 1 overall pick, you could get, Todd Gurley for 2 years. And then the next guy can get, Devonta Freeman for 2 years. So it's not that big of a deal. I don't think people are going to intentionally tank for that. But also, I'm going to put it up here. I wrote it out so that if you want to look at it, it'll be up there, just so there's no controversy when we actually do this. All right, that's it for today's Fantasy Minute.